Welcome to Hudson Raider football on the River Channel. I'm Chris Larson, and this week, Joel Eby is back. We've got the fearsome twosome up here tonight. It's a big game hosting the Menomonie Mustangs tonight. And this has been a game over the last few years that's been played at the end of the season, last game of the conference schedule, and that game has decided the conference champion. This season, they've shaken the schedule up a bit. It's the second game on the conference schedule, but this game could be a very big one here as far as who is going to go home with the Big Rivers crown this season.
Yeah, I think this game is going to have an impact. Obviously, after what happened last week in Superior, that's kind of dashed Hudson's hopes a little bit. The only thing we can hope is that Menomonie can get a win at Superior and Hudson can win out. And it wasn't that many years ago when Hudson won their first conference championship that was their only blemish on their record, was going up to Superior and losing. But that was a tough game last week. I unfortunately didn't get to see it live, but maybe that's a good thing.
The Hudson Raider defense last week really struggled against the Superior passing game. I think they probably were energized through practice this week from the coaching staff, and it'll be interesting to see how they respond after that loss as the first conference loss in about 3 seasons.
They said it's the first loss in 17 conference matches, so it's been a while since they've taken one on the chin in the conference, and it was that they were beat by their quarterback. I mean, Menomonie had a great game, threw for 358 yards and 5 touchdowns. Pretty much played flawless.
The Raiders will receive the opening kickoff. We're set to play football here at Newton Field in Hudson tonight. Kick is away. It's going to be a deep kick. Fielded around the 5-yard line by Braden Marvin. Marvin able to slide through some tackles, still on his feet, brings the ball up to around the 35-yard line, so pretty good field position for the Raiders to start the first drive.
Braden Marvin's been a real bright spot in Hudson's offense this year. The kid was the leading rusher last week against Superior at over 100 yards rushing. Like to see him get a little bit more involved in the passing game, but I hope they don't pass the ball once tonight. If they can run it like they did last week, they can racked up over 250 yards rushing last week.
John Ucatil will start under center, 65 yards in front of the Raiders. They'll give it to Dayton Diemel, first play of the game, and Diemel doesn't get much, maybe about a yard on first down. Diemel's shaken up a little bit last week, was off the field for a little while with a couple of injuries, but back out there again this week.
Menomonie comes into this game a little banged up. They're missing a few starters, but Menomonie's one of those teams that they don't, they just reload.
They give it to Diemel once again. This time Diemel pickup of around 4 yards. Going to set up a 3rd down and 5 for the Raiders at their own 40.
This is kind of a tone-setting drive here for Menomonie. If Menomonie get a quick stop and get the ball back, Hudson looks a little disorganized on offense in this first drive. They've been shifting players around at the tight end position. Hudson tries to draw him off sides.
Almost got him, but linebacker able to back off. Ucatil will now run a play, and I believe the Raiders.
Looks like we're going to have a delay a game.
So a 3rd and 5 will vaporize and turn into a 3rd and 10 after the delay.
And it's just you got to quit trying to outthink yourself. Now, where's he going to spot the ball? It looks like he's going to march off another 5. It looks like Ucatil's asking for an explanation on the count. I think it's going to be a great mystery when the back judge starts counting off. You got 5 seconds to get the play off.
3rd down and 10 now for Hudson. Ucatil will go from the pistol formation. Back to pass as Ucatil. They hit Weissemeyer on the screen, but Weissemeyer driven backwards, didn't get much, and the Raider punt team will come onto the field. Stokey on the tackle for Menomonie, and after scoring on the first drive of the night last week, the Raiders will send the punt team out. Raiders have really been dominant throughout the first halves of most of their games this year, especially offensively. Christian Bell to kick this away. He does. Line drive kick, fair catch called for and made at the 36-yard line of Menomonie.
Well, that's not the way I'm sure Cowles wanted the offense to start out. 3 plays for a net of no yards. Net the ball and give Menomonie the ball right back at the, looks like about the 36-yard line.
Menomonie last week with a victory at home over Eau Claire North, 34-20. They come into the game 2-1, a win to open their season 31-16 over Chaska, but then went down to the Madison suburbs, lost to St. Francis, blown out 49-7. Menomonie will start this off with a pass, and they're going to pick up around 6 or 7. And after what Superior did to the Hudson Raiders last week, I think you're going to see a lot of teams try to throw the ball on Hudson.
And once again, there you get a wide receiver out matched up with a linebacker, and that's just, you're just playing catch at that point.
7-yard gain will set up 2nd down and 3 for Menomonie.
You know, Hudson was unable to get any pressure last week on Superior. They got a little pressure where they would blitz, but they've blitzed very little in the first half.
We'll run it now up the middle, and they find a hole and a 1st down. It's going to be Derek Call. We'll move the chains and bring the ball out to midfield for Menomonie. Hudson Raiders have defeated Menomonie 6 straight times. This is our 7th year doing this, and I have never seen Menomonie beat Hudson since we've been calling games here on the River Channel.
Well, let's hope tonight's not a starting of a trend.
Derek Call taking it around the right side.
Boy, Hudson's defensive line is just getting pushed around.
Derek Call on the carry, tackled by number 99, Holden Tim. Holden Tim on the tackle.
That will move the chains once again. Now the football inside the 40-yard line for Menomonie. 1st and 10.
Looks similar to what Hudson was able to do to Superior last week. Hudson just had a much bigger offensive line, and Superior just didn't have the defensive players to match up.
And they'll go direct snap to Call, and Call's going to pick up another big chunk of yardage, about a gain of 8 there.
You know, that's basically it's a wildcat formation with no wide receivers. You got to know what they're going to do. There's no receivers and no backs. You know the quarterback's going to run it. You got 10 guys on the line of scrimmage to block.
Now they bring Devin Weiland in to play quarterback here. And that play was out of sync. Weiland turned around to hand it off, and the running back wasn't there. Raiders able to get a tackle behind the line of scrimmage, and will set up a 3rd and a long 3 here coming up from Menomonie.
Yeah, Hudson got good penetration there. Jensen, number 95, was in the backfield right at the handoff, so there was no chance that play was going to go anywhere. And this is kind of looking like it's probably close to 4-down territory for Menomonie.
Another new quarterback, Jace Labuda, in there. And they will hand it off around the right side.
It's going to be close, but I don't think he got it.
Gave it to Stokey. Xander Motu and Jack Koski with the tackles. Brings him down about a yard short, but as Joel alluded to, Menomonie's definitely going for it here in 4th and 1.
Well, here's a chance for the defense to step up big and get a stop.
Menomonie will make another personnel change, another quarterback in there now.
Once again, Menomonie lines up with nobody.
And they're going to go right up the middle, and they will have the 1st down.
And I just don't understand why Hudson has anybody back when they've got that formation. There's nobody to throw the ball to. Why do you have safeties deep?
1st and 10 now from the 28-yard line for Menomonie. And they will bring it back into the game. Devin Weiland to play quarterback. I think we've seen about 4 different players take snaps in this drive from Menomonie. And this time it's going to be Stanley, or actually it's Derek Call once again. And he's going to pick up about 2 before he's brought down.
Nathan Stanley, I believe he was a starting quarterback to start the season, but he was injured a week or maybe it was in week 1 when he was injured and broke a finger in his throwing hand. They were talking about moving him to another position to get him on the field, but so far we haven't seen him out there, at least not under the number 18.
Jace Labuda, the sophomore, will go behind center this time, and the Mustangs spread the field. Labuda set the pass, plenty of time, throws it over the right side, and it's going to be incomplete coverage over there, Lucas Trainer. That will set up 3rd down and long for Menomonie.
Lucas Trainer on the defense brings up 3rd down.
Menomonie's definitely showing more emotion than Hudson here tonight so far, but Hudson hasn't really had too much to cheer about.
And Menomonie will call a timeout. .5:47 left in the first quarter. It's scoreless. Hudson and Menomonie here at Newton Field in Hudson. Second conference game of the season. Menomonie comes in with 1 conference victory. Hudson Raiders lost last week at Superior.
And you know, as bad as Hudson played in that game on defense, they still had a chance to win that game at the end. If it wasn't for the 2 interceptions in the 4th quarter. You know, other than that, you know, the offense pretty much had their way running the ball. I think they had to average close to 10 yards a carry.
Able to run the ball well, just kind of had some ill-timed penalties just like we saw in that first drive, and just kind of some plays, some drives that just kind of fizzled out on them and ended up basically just getting outscored in that game.
You know, as good a program as Hudson's developed here, you can't make those kind of mistakes when it comes to turnovers and penalties and expect to, you know, beat good teams.
3rd down and 8 for Menomonie. They'll spread the field. Jace Labuda at quarterback, the sophomore. Labuda throws it out to the right side. It's going to be incomplete, and that will bring up 4th down. With that injury to Stanley, it looks like it's kind of set Menomonie into a position where they really don't appear to have a passing quarterback
but
here.
I like that when they line up with that like wildcat with 10 guys on the line of scrimmage. I mean,
4th down and 8. They'll bring in the other quarterback, Weiland. Weiland set to throw. Steps into it, throws downfield, and that's also going to be incomplete. Raider defense able to get a stop.
Well, Hudson got their back a little bit up to the wall, and we're able to stiffen up and play good defense. And like you said, though, they don't have a quarterback that can throw the ball.
Offense back onto the field at the 26-yard line. 74 yards in front of him to Pater. Ucatil will set up under center. Diemel behind him. And they'll give it to Braden Marvin on the counter. Marvin is going to be picking up about 11, 12 yards. That will move the chains for the Hudson Raiders.
That's kind of been one of their bread and butter plays this year, is a kind of misdirection inside, misdirection handoff to Marvin.
Raiders right back up to the line of scrimmage, 1st and 10 from the 36. Ucatil set to throw. Nope. They hand it off. It's Dayton Diemel. And Diemel picks up about 12 on the play. Stokey with the tackle. But that will move the chains once again for Hudson.
This is exactly the kind of drive Hudson needs. Put some first downs together, change the field position.
This time, Ucatil to Marvin once again, and Marvin's going to have 2 or 3 on first down. Clock just under 5 minutes to play in the first quarter. We're scoreless.
Boy, and that's another not a good spot. Oh, the line on the other side of the field had the ball spotted at the 48.5-yard line, and he spots at the 49.
Ucatil will line up in the pistol on this play. And Ucatil's going to keep it. They faked the handoff to Carranza. Ucatil with about a 2-yard gain. It's going to set up 3rd down and a long 5 coming up.
Well, I believe you're going to see Johnny Ucatil throw the ball here.
Ukitil set to throw, throws it across.
Got his
the
man!
middle, got his
It's
man!
caught!
Weissemeyer catches it.
inside
Weissemeyer
the 5!
fighting his way into the end zone, going to be pulled down just short at the 1 yard line. Menomonie says
Oh,
they
they're
have
saying
the
they
football,
fumbled!
and they do.
Oh, no! Oh, you got to be kidding me. Oh, you can't tell me his forward progress wasn't stopped? Oh, what a terrible break.
Weissemeyer
You
was
get the ball down inside the, looked like he was going to score.
fighting to get into the end zone, and Menomonie able to pull the ball out of there and recover it. And they will start this drive on the 1 yard line.
I would like to have been on the other side of the field to see that. Looked to me like it was clearly that his forward progress was stopped.
Menomonie will line up in the tight formation once again, and they'll give it quarterback keeper. And the Raiders said he got a safety, but the officials are going to mark him down after a short loss at about the half-yard line.
Well,
second down and 10 coming up. 3:30 remaining in the first quarter.
well, let's see if Hudson maybe get a turnover here.
Menomonie in their own end zone. Jace Labuda set to throw, is going to throw it down the left side. It's going to be incomplete. Coverage over there by John Cryer.
John Cryer actually had good position, had good inside position. The ball would have been thrown to the outside instead of the inside. He would have had a chance at running under it, but
third down coming up for Menomonie. Raiders can get a stop here. They should be able to get the ball back with pretty good field position.
I don't know, it looks to me like they gained a half yard on that incomplete pass because now they spotted the ball on the 1 yard line.
And they will run it around the right side. Not going to get much. About a yard. And that should send the Menomonie punt team back onto the field.
A lot of bad things can happen when you got to punt out of your own end zone.
So the Raider defense, after getting carved up last week, been able to put a halt to the Menomonie drive twice in a row. Nathan Stanley standing on the edge of the end zone. It's a good snap, and Stanley gets the kick away. Line drive kick fielded by Trainer at the 40. He changes position, cutting back, makes the guy miss, and will fall down at around the 32-yard line. So the Raider offense comes back onto the field in a pretty good spot here.
Not as good as having the ball on the half yard line. But
not as good as having the ball on the half yard line, but pretty good spot to start your drive here at the 32. They can continue with the momentum that they gained in that last drive. Find themselves in the end zone here. 2:21 left in the first quarter. Scoreless game. Hudson Raiders, Menomonie Mustangs. Big Rivers Conference tilt, and it's a big one. Ukitil to Braden Marvin. Ball comes loose. Marvin covers it up, but it's going to be a loss of around 4. They tried to run that play that they ran twice in the last drive, and it was nearly disaster.
Well, I think Marvin, I don't know if he slipped, and that's what caused him not to get a good handle on the ball, or if he didn't get a good handle on the ball and he was trying to reach back, and that's what caused him to slip. But the footing hasn't been real good here tonight. I noticed that they were doing some little slipping and sliding in the pregame.
2nd and 14. Ukitil will throw it, finds
Get the first
Weissemeyer
down.
once
Get
again.
the first down.
And he's going to be brought down just shy of the first down. Tried to make a move, and Joel, you were cheering for him just to run forward. He probably would have had it, tried to make a move, and ends up a yard shy. 3rd and 1 here coming up for Hudson. Again, this is 4-down territory for the Raiders.
Quarterback sneak.
Ukitil gives it
to Holm.
Head to Holm, and Holm will have the first down. Nick Holm has done a nice job in relief of Dayton Diemel, and a nice run there moves the chains for the Raiders.
I don't think Hudson's two fullbacks weigh as much as their fullbacks combined compared to what their fullbacks last 2 years have weighed.
Ucatil gives it to Diemel this time, and Diemel still on his feet, finally dragged down and around the 6-yard line, but I believe that will set up the Hudson Raiders with a 1st and goal. Now they're going to mark him just short. The 2nd inches coming up for Hudson.
Oh, they're going to stop and measure, looks like.
Honestly, having a 2nd inches in this position is probably a little bit of an advantage.
Yeah, at the position there on the field, like you said, it's definitely going to be a 4-down territory. Well, I suppose they could kick a field goal, but I would like to think they'd be going for it. And it looks to me like they're going to have the 1st down.
Well, he's taking a close look.
I can't see.
Get out the micrometer, and they will give him the 1st down. So 1st and goal for the Hudson Raiders at around the 6-yard line. Raiders with 4 chances from 6 yards out to get it into the end zone here.
And this is a good spot to be in. 1st and goal at the 5, so let's see a big dose of Diemel and Marvin.
Ucatil will give it to Diemel. Diemel breaks the tackle, still on his feet, and he's going to get to about the line of scrimmage.
Harnavik's parents, please come to the press box. Joey Harnavik's parents, please.
So you're going to lose about a yard on that play. 2nd goal from the 7 now. Raiders look like they're going to go from the pistol here. 2 receivers to the left. And Ucatil's going to keep it. Ucatil into the end zone. Touchdown, Raiders. John Ucatil runs the draw on 2nd and goal from the 7, and he's into the end zone. Hudson leads it 6-0 with 29 seconds left in the 1st quarter.
Well, they certainly had to work for it. Everything kind of went against them here in this 1st quarter with turnover and the penalties, and but they do lead the game.
Christian Bell set to kick the extra point. Snap is down, kick is up, and it is good. The Hudson Raiders lead it 7-0. So it took them about a quarter to get into the end zone, but nevertheless, they're leading it 7-0, and the defense has looked a lot better tonight than they did last week. Menomonies had the football twice and had a drive going there for a bit before it fizzled out, and the 2nd time they were just kind of backed up due to field position.
Yeah, I think they tried some things that Hudson probably hadn't game planned for, some things they haven't done yet this season with that quasi-wildcat formation, and I think Menomonies trying to find their way this season. You know, they've been kind of decimated with injuries, and I don't think this is the offense that Joe Labuda envisioned when he started out this season.
They had you hate to call it a struggle when you win 34-20, but usually when Menomonie plays Eau Claire North, it's like a 49-7 type of game. So when you saw that score last week, 34-20, Menomonie over Eau Claire North at home, you kind of scratched your head and went, this might not be the team that we're used to seeing out of Menomonie. Nevertheless, you can tell this Menomonie squad is fired up and ready to go, and the Hudson Raiders are definitely going to get their A game tonight.
Well, you know, this was the one game that you had no problem getting the Hudson team fired up for, you know, back in the, mid-2000s when Menomonie was the, big boy on the block. And now that Hudson's kind of taken over that role and beat Menomonie for, like I said, 6 years in a row, I think this is a game that you should have no problem getting the Menomonie players up for.
Christian Bell set to kick for the Raiders. First kickoff of the night for Bell. Kick is away. It's a high kick. It's going to be fielded around the 5-yard line by the Mustangs. And the Raider coverage team, the nice stop, will bring them down at around the 25.
This would be a real nice spot for the Raiders to get a turnover.
Number 9, Alex Richards.
Alex Richards, the tackle on special teams for the Raiders. And Menomonie will come out with 74 yards in front of them. Big old cast on the hand of the nose tackle Miles Jensen out there tonight. And Menomonie's going to run it around the right side with Stokey.
Lucas Trainer got leveled on that play.
Menomonie ran their 5th quarterback out there tonight. That was Brett Lindbergh taking the snap, and we've yet to see him, and now he's back over to the bench. So Menomonie's going to run these guys in and out with the plays, I guess, tonight. So we're going to have a new quarterback under center probably every snap.
And that'll be the end of the first quarter.
So at the end of one, it's the Hudson Raiders 7, Menomonie 0. Menomonie with the football. What's your first impressions from what you've seen so far tonight, Joel?
Well, I think other than that first drive, we kind of thought we were going to expect out of the Hudson offense, just try to run the ball and with that counter inside and try to run the ball wide, which we haven't seen them do a lot of yet. But it's having success up the middle. It's great, and you can tell prove that he can throw the ball when he's been given time. And you saw in that big play down to where they fumbled the ball, he had Weismeyer wide open down the middle. So I think it's a matter of Hudson sticking to their game plan, doing what they do. If the defense can keep getting stops, they've got the game won already.
Yeah. And really, from what we've seen so far, if there's a weakness to the Hudson defense, it's covering the pass. And from what we've seen so far, it doesn't look like Menomonie's going to be able to throw the ball real effectively tonight.
No, that's last week's game. Hudson gave up more big plays last week than they gave up all last year, and I know that's got to put a bug in the defensive coach's bonnet, so to speak. I'm sure they got coached up on that during the week.
Weiland will play quarterback here. Empty backfield. 3 receivers and double tight ends on the line. Looks like Menomonie's at least going to test that Raiders secondary. Weiland back to throw. Fires to the left side is going to be incomplete. Coverage over there by Reed Junko.
Well, the way Menomonie's throwing the ball, they can line up and throw it all night as far as I'm concerned.
Pretty erratic throwing the football tonight so far. Let's see who takes the snaps for him this time. Looks like it's going to be Hayden Swartz, and that is going to be your 6th man to take the snap.
Maybe this is a game where they're trying to figure out who's going to play quarterback for the rest of the year. It's the quarterback go round.
Whistles blow, and it'll be Menomonie's 2nd timeout called here. I think this is one of those deals, Joel, where I think Joe knows he's a little bit underhanded tonight. He doesn't have the full complement of his players, and he's just going to throw the wackiest things he can at the Hudson Raiders tonight.
Well, and if that's what you got to do, that's what you got to do. But I don't think Hudson's played this many quarterbacks in the last 5 years that we've seen in the first quarter.
Give the boys in blue something to look at that they probably haven't seen.
I think it's one of the situations you just got to, it doesn't matter what the number is on his jersey. He's the quarterback. This is how you play him.
Yeah.
That defensive line with Reeder, Jensen, and Tim really played well together. So they've been together for the first 3 games, and now this is being the 4th game.
3rd and 6, tight formation for the Mustangs. Now they'll spread it out to the left side.
So they do a wide receiver screen.
And they're going to run it up the middle. Got an opening. It's going to be close to the first down, but I think he's going to be short depending on the spot.
I think they're going to give it to him.
Yeah, looks like
the way they've got it spotted, that's a pretty generous spot, but we've come to expect that.
So that will move the chains for Menomonie.
There again, a little trickeration. What looked was going to be a wide receiver screen, little draw, catches Hudson a little bit off guard, and a first down.
So 1st and 10 for Menomonie now. Their own 37-yard line. They'll do the direct snap. And this time it's going to be Miller. And I believe that was the 7th player to take a snap from Menomonie now.
And I don't understand, again, Hudson's safeties are 10, 15 yards off line of scrimmage when they've got no receivers. I think I'd be gambling a little bit when they're on that. If they're going to come out with that lineup, let's throw a blitz at them.
Labuda throwing it down the left side deep is going to be caught. Caught down there by Lindbergh. And that will set Menomonie up into Raider territory down to the 34-yard line. Sekulu with the tackle over there. And Lindbergh had plenty of space to pull that down.
Well, that was a jump ball, and Sekulu's got no chance at 5'7", going up and getting a ball like that.
And Labuda throws it again. He's got a open man underneath, and that's going to be real close to first down yardage. Get it out to McCauley, and that will move the chains for Menomonie. 1st and 10 down to the 23-yard line of the Hudson Raiders.
Yet another formation to line up in.
Pitch it around the left side. And the Raiders able to take down Call after he picks up about 3 there on first down. Bring up 2nd down and 7.
Really be nice to see a turnover here. Motu's been having a really nice season so far. He's been doing great against the run, and he's been out getting his chance to play in some coverage too, and been doing an admirable job for a linebacker.
Weiland will set up as the quarterback for Menomonie. He will go from under center. And they're going to go around to the left side once again, testing that left side. That's Stokey. And Stokey's going to pick up about 3 or 4, sets up a manageable 3rd down and 3 now for the Mustangs.
And no doubt 4-down territory. So the Raiders got to stop him twice here.
Weiland under center once again. And they're going to go to the right side this time, and Call should have the first down, and he does. Going to mark this ball at around the 11-yard line.
You know, and I just don't understand it again. You got a safety 15 yards off line of scrimmage with no wide receivers in the game.
1st and 10 for Menomonie at the 11-yard line. Menomonie will spread it out, bring Labuda back in at quarterback. He's going to throw it to the right side over to Call, and it's going to be incomplete.
Very close to being a lateral, but they're going to call it incomplete pass. And
ball thrown at Call's feet. Set up 2nd and 10. The Raiders, or the Mustangs, will make another change of personnel. Weiland back in at quarterback. Run the tight formation again. And they're going to give it to Call around the left side. Tripped up, taken down over there. I believe that's Corum. It is Wes Corum. Nice shoestring tackle to keep it to a 1-yard gain.
So they bring in Reed Junko, number 17, comes in a defensive back.
Cryer comes out, 3rd down and a short 9, just inside the 10-yard line for Menomonie. Labuda back in there at quarterback. Labuda throws around the right side, got a man.
So that's a touchdown.
And he's into the end zone. Touchdown for Menomonie. Connor McCauley, plenty of room over there on the right side. And it was basically a pitch and catch. Raiders have had some struggles this season in coverage. And they continued really on that drive right there.
They're just so undersized, the defensive back position. You can't, when it comes to a jump ball, they can't get up and try to, compete for it. And when it comes to the run, they're just undersized. They can't stop those big receivers.
So with 8:07 left in the second quarter, Menomonie ties it up on the pass play to McCauley. 9-yard touchdown strike from Labudum to McCauley. And really, Menomonie's had some open receivers tonight. They just haven't been able to deliver the football. And there on that drive, they were able to hit their man and wide open.
Yep.
No jump ball needed on that play.
And and again, they're not blitzing. They're not getting any pressure or enough pressure on whatever quarterback's in there.
So Menomonie will kick off for the second time tonight. Knotted up at 7 apiece. 8:07 left in the second quarter.
Marvin and Trainer back to receive.
Schlow set to kick off for Menomonie. High short kick going to be fielded around the 17-yard line by Lucas Trainer. And Trainer is going to be wrapped up and dragged down around the 33. Raiders will start the drive with 67 in front of them. Other games around the Big Rivers Conference tonight: Eau Claire Memorial at River Falls, Superior at Chippewa Falls, and Rice Lake at Eau Claire North.
It'll be interesting to see what Superior does at Chippewa Falls tonight after that big win last week. See if they can keep it rolling or if they have a little bit of a letdown.
Yucatil will hand it off to Carranza. And Carranza maybe gained about a half a yard on that play.
Tackled by Goodman. Goodman on the tackle.
Give him a yard. 2nd and 9 coming up for Hudson.
And Hudson hasn't run an option yet.
Yucatil looking to throw, in trouble, gets out of it, throws downfield, and nearly caught by Carranza, but it's going to go incomplete. And that will set up a 3rd down and 9 for Hudson.
That was a spot where Carranza could have caught the ball. It was a good pass by Yucatil. Was thrown into tight coverage, but looked like Carranza did have position on it, had inside position where the ball was thrown. It's still can't understand why they haven't tried to run an option.
Yucatil looking to throw again, this time going for Weissemeyer. He's wide open, but pass overthrown slightly, and that will send the Hudson Raider punt team back onto the field.
Wide open. Boy, that's just not what you wanted to see, a quick 3 and out. It only took off about 35 seconds off the clock, that whole drive, whole series. You can't even call it a drive.
Christian Bell to punt for Hudson. Going to stand it around his own 17. Menomonie returner standing around the 35.
Menomonie's going to come out of this with good field position.
Kick is
nice
high
kick.
And deep. And it's going to take a Raider bounce at around the 22-yard line.
Boy.
So Bell tonight with 2 punts, neither one of them returnable. The first one, Menomonie had to call for a fair catch. That one there, just right over the top of the Menomonie deep men. Talked about Superior, the big win last week. Another big win in the Big Rivers was River Falls with a stunning victory, down by 4. Just a few seconds left in the clock. It was a 4th down from their own 5-yard line. Deep down the left side, touchdown, 95 yards. River Falls wins at 17-14 over Rice Lake in Rice Lake last week. Jace Labuda throwing it over the left side, incomplete. Looking for Call once again. Pretty good coverage over there by the Hudson Raiders.
7 minutes left in the half, just over 7 minutes.
Other scores in the Big Rivers last week, it was Eau Claire Memorial 21-7 over Chippewa Falls. And we had mentioned Menomonie 34-20 over Eau Claire North, and the Hudson Raiders falling 35-28 to Superior on the road last week. They'll give it to Call around the left side. Nice job with the Raiders putting the stop to
Motu on the tackle.
Motu and Koski in there on the tackle. Sets up 3rd down and long for Menomonie.
You know, Hudson did a lot of juggling around that linebacker crew for the first couple games of the season, but it looks like they've kind of settled in there with Koski and Motu, Niederhauser, and Corum.
3rd and 9 for Menomonie. Raiders could use the spot here. Labuda will play quarterback. And Menominee's going to – looks like someone forgot the snap count there.
The receivers and the offensive line were definitely on a different page.
Lindbergh took off, and the ball had not been snapped, so that will back up Menomonie another 5 yards, make it a 3rd and 14.
I thought it was some kind of a trick play because all the receivers took off and the line just kind of stood there. I was looking to make sure the ball didn't get snapped.
3rd and about 14. Ball's on the 17.5-yard line.
Labuda stays in there at quarterback from the shotgun. 3rd and 14. Labuda set the pass, going to throw it right up the middle, and it's going to be incomplete. Kind of went through the hands of Lucas Trainer, and he kind of wishes he was going to pull that in, but the Raiders will take the stop on 3rd down as the Menomonie punt team comes onto the field.
That ball thrown across the middle like that with 2 Raiders there, looked like it was going to be a golden opportunity to get an interception, but ball falls to the turf, and Menomonie will have to punt.
6:05 left in the first half. Lucas Trainer will stand at midfield.
It's funny, that series took exactly 30 seconds off the clock. So neither team been able to burn much clock here.
Going to be fielded by Trainer right at the 50. Trainer with an opportunity to return it.
Got a little crease.
Finds a seam. Breaks the tackle, still on his feet, down to around the 23-yard line. Great return by Lucas Trainer and the Hudson Raider offense back onto the field with their best starting field position of the night.
It's not a flag right on the 40-yard line, is it?
Looks like a – oh, we're saying yes. And it'll be holding against Hudson, and they will not start this drive at the 23. It's going to be probably around midfield. Going to mark it off from the 40, so the Raiders will start this drive at the 50.
10 yards from the spot of the infraction. So they're marking it off from about the 39, and Hudson Raiders will take over.
Mark it at the 49-yard line of Menomonie. So still pretty good field position, 49 yards in front of them.
That's a 25-yard penalty.
Ucatil.
Let's get it back here in one play.
We'll start this drive under center. Diemel behind him.
See, Ucatil run it wide.
They'll give it to Diemel. Diemel, plenty of room.
There he goes!
Diemel on his way.
Go!
One man to beat. Pulled down inside the 20, down to around the 16-yard line. Big run on 1st down. Pickup of 33, and the Raiders are in business.
Well, they got all the yards back of the penalty plus a few.
They'll give him 34, 1st and 10 for the Raiders at the 15-yard line of Menomonie. 5:44 left in the first half. We're tied up at 7 apiece. Ucatil will give it to Diemel once again. Diemel makes a guy miss. Going to be a gain of around 4 yards on 1st down. Flag on the field on the far side, though.
My guess it's going to go against the Raiders. Of course.
Legal procedure against the Raiders.
They'll call a legal procedure against Hudson, and that will move them back 5 yards.
And imagine that it was a ref on the Labuda side of the field that called it too. I think Labuda was chirping in his ear.
Menomonie has called timeout again.
Third and final timeout of the first half.
So 1st and 15 coming up. Joe Labuda elects to take a defensive touchdown here, or a defensive timeout here. Other games in the Big Rivers tonight. Eau Claire Memorial visiting River Falls. Not sure where they're playing that game. River Falls doesn't have a field right now. Superior at Chippewa Falls and Rice Lake at Eau Claire North. The guys at UW River Falls put up on their Facebook page over the week, they did get the field put in. There's turf on the field, but a lot of construction around it still, a lot of work to go down there at Raymer Field.
Well, you'd think that they would have, scheduled away games around that construction, but because they couldn't have been playing on their old field. That's pretty rough down there. How was the field in Superior, the new field?
Beautiful, gorgeous facility down there.
It looked really nice on the video.
Ucatil from the pistol now, and he will keep it. Makes a guy miss, makes another guy miss, dragging a man down to around the 11-yard line. He's going to get back to about where Dayton Demel was.
So, what's the location of that field? Is it out by the high school?
It's right next to the high school now on the far west side of town.
It's a far cry from Ole Hogsrud Mudfest.
2nd and 6. Raiders
well,
feel like they drew Menomonie offsides, and it looks like they have. 2nd and 7 is going to turn into about a 2nd and 2.
Well, we got the 5 back that we gave up, so after all that rigmarole, we're right back to where we should have been. And I believe that's the first penalty against Menomonie.
2nd and 2 now for the Raiders at around the 7 or 8 yard line. And they tried to give it to Demel, and Ucatil had to fall on it. And it's the second time tonight the Raiders have put the ball, well, third time tonight the Raiders have put the ball in the turf. They've lost one of them and recovered 2 of them. Second time tonight they fumbled on the quarterback to running back exchange. 4:40 clock ticking. Raiders tried to draw Menomonie off sides there. Nothing doing. Ucatil gives it to Demel. Demel fighting, but he's going to be short of the first down.
Well, now what are they going to do? Decision time. Looks like Hudson's going to go for it. They elected not to go for the field goal. 4th down and less than a yard.
4th and a yard for Hudson. 6-yard line. Raiders need to make it just inside the 5 to get a fresh set of downs. They're going to give it to Demel, and I don't think he's got it.
I don't know. I think he kept it.
Yeah, I think they've given the ball to Menomonie. They have. It's another one of those deals where I think you've outsmarted yourself on that play. Run your bread and butter, make them stop you.
They have yet to run anything wide. That would have been the perfect opportunity to fake a handoff to Demel up the middle and do a little option out the edge where you can either keep it or pitch it.
So the Raiders start that drive in Menomonie territory and come away with nothing. Marched it down to the 6-yard line, and that was as far as they could go. Menomonie with an opportunity to take the lead if they can march it 90-plus yards, and they start the drive with the short loss. Ryan Ryder in there for Hudson.
Looks like it's going to be a short loss on the play.
Raiders will make a substitution. Koski will come out.
Dalton Marsky runs in for him.
2nd and 11 for Menomonie at their own 6-yard line. And they'll pitch it around the left side to Call, and Call's going to get a couple, but not much. Going to set up 3rd down and long for Menomonie. 3:07 left in the first half. Clock stopped after the Hudson Raiders take their first time out of the half.
That's a good spot to take a timeout because you want to stop the clock so you can get your offense some more time with the ball. If they do stop here on 3rd down, which I find it hard to believe that Menomonie would take a chance on trying to throw the ball here. But I'm sure Labuda is going to come up with some trickeration to who knows what goes on in the mind of that man.
It looks like they've brought Jace Labuda into the game, and he has been the guy to throw the ball for most of the evening. So a big 3rd down coming up here in this game.
And they've had some players open when they've chose to throw the ball.
Certainly have. I wouldn't be hesitant to throw the football here.
Well, I don't want to bring up bad memories, but isn't this about the spot on the field where Hudson gave up the big touchdown pass last week?
That one was at the 5 last week, 95-yard pass. This one here, if they're able to pull off something like that, you'd be looking at 90-plus. We don't really need to talk about that right now. You could use a stop and get the offense back onto the field. They'll line up, and they're going to hand it off up the middle.
I don't think he got it. He's going to be short.
Going to be about 2 yards short. They gave it to Call. Motu tackled him.
Well,
About 1.5 yards shy, and I can't believe that Labuda would go for it at this point in the game with 2:49 left, and they will send the punt team onto the field.
I wouldn't be surprised to see him fake something here.
I think with 2:30 left in the half, I would make Hudson prove that they can score quickly. Trainer is going to stand at midfield once again. 4th down and 1. Punt formation on the field, and Menomonie will kick it away. Line drive kick fielded by Trainer once again at midfield. He goes the other way this time. Still dancing around, makes a guy miss, and now he's going to go down at around the 41-yard line. Trainer ran 50 to gain about 8.
He might be hurt.
And he is.
Trainer got bent backwards on that, and it looked like he's down.
In pain.
He would have been better off just going down. I don't know if was maybe a knee that got twisted, or they can sorely afford to lose him.
Yeah, the way the secondary's been playing this season, he's really the only bright spot in the secondary so far this year.
Let's hope it's maybe just got the wind knocked out of him. Maybe took one in the groceries.
There's only one trainer out there, and she hasn't called anybody else out there, which
that's a good sign.
Looks to be a good sign, but trainer is definitely in some pain down there.
All right.
Bring him to his feet here.
Oh, that's not good because he's not putting any pressure on that leg. So it's either a knee or an ankle.
No weight on the left leg. And that is definitely not a good sign for a Raider defense that's been tested over the last few weeks.
Well, the good news is the offense is out on the field now. And hopefully he won't have to come back until the second half so they can get him in at locker room at halftime and do further evaluation and maybe try to get some ice on it and get a little wrap on it.
2:08 left in the first half. We're tied up at 7 apiece. The Hudson Raiders have had the football inside the 10-yard line of Menomonie twice tonight and have come away with nothing on both those chances. Ucatil goes under center. They're going to give it to Marvin.
There's Marvin!
Is breaking
He's
loose,
going to
score!
He's gonna score!
Touchdown Raiders! Braden Marvin, one play, takes it 41 yards into the end zone, and that will give the Hudson Raiders a 13-7 lead, with Christian Bell coming on to make it 14-7.
And that drive took 9 seconds.
Spot where you wouldn't mind seeing a few plays.
I was just going to say, now Trainer definitely won't be coming back in for this series. Well, we'll see who they run out there.
We're going to take the points.
Yeah, we'll take the points. We'll take them any way we can get them. And I believe Trainer is on the kick team too, so they're going to need to get somebody else out there.
And Bell sends it through, and the Hudson Raiders, with 1:59 remaining in the first half, have taken a 14-7 lead. You'd hate to say what could have been, but like I said, they've had 2 different trips inside the 10-yard line tonight that have come away with nothing. But either way, the Raiders lead at 14-7. They come up with a defensive stop and head into the locker room with the lead. But
well, the half isn't over yet.
If they can come up with a stop, I believe is what I started the sentence with.
That's what I get for not paying attention.
I might not have said it, but I think I did.
think you did. Well, who knows? Maybe we'll get a stop and get another score.
We've learned a lot over these past few years. You never count your chickens with these high school football games.
No.
Bell will kick off from the far hash. Trainer may be the fastest guy on the team and was on the coverage team. Raiders have to make an adjustment there.
Yeah, I think they brought out Tanner Holm. Takes his place.
Bell set to kick.
Nice kick.
He fielded around the 5-yard line by Menomonie. And they're going to pull it all the way out to the 40-yard line.
Boy, that was a big return.
Stokey with a big return for Menomonie, and the Mustangs with pretty good field position and 149 to get the ball down the field.
Yeah, Menomonie does not have any timeouts, so they are going to need to work the clock, getting the first downs, getting out of bounds.
Menomonie will also start the second half with the football. Labuda in there at quarterback for Menomonie. Set to throw, all kinds of time over the middle, incomplete. Bryce Ducharme there in the coverage, and they went right to where Lucas Trainer would typically be.
Bryce Ducharme was right there, made a nice play.
Second and 10 coming up. The Raiders with 2 timeouts left. They could come up with a turnover here. They might be able to get something brewing.
At least get a quick 3 and out. If they're going to, it looks like now they're going to run the ball, but.
Pitch it around the left side. I believe that was call, and it was. He's going to pick up about 5.
Well, that brings up 3rd down. Now, if you're Hudson, do you stop the clock here?
I think Coach Cowles would be loving just getting into the locker room up 14-7.
Well, there we go. There's some movement. That'll move them back. That'll stop the clock, so you don't have to worry about that.
So that will back Menomonie up 5 yards and stop the clock with 1:20 remaining. Turn to 3rd down and about 4 into a 3rd down and almost 10 yards. 3rd and 9 coming up.
Still 2nd down, but now it's 2nd and 9. 2nd and 9 for the Mustang. Ball is on the 42.
So 3rd down and 9. Well, they restarted the clock. Down to 1 minute to play. Labuda set to throw. He's going to throw it around the left side. It's going to be incomplete. That will stop the clock with 56 seconds left. Menomonie will punt the ball away.
And who's going to return the ball for Hudson now? Looks like they're going to put home back there.
Tanner Holm standing at around the 25-yard line of Hudson.
Oh, it's over his
High
head!
snap. Raiders need to get down there. Put a hit on him. And the Raiders
Yes! What a big play!
will have the football at the 10-yard line with 49 seconds to play.
And 2 timeouts.
And 2 timeouts. A big special teams error, which really was a big play last year for Hudson with a special teams error by Menomonie. With an opportunity here to cash in. 49 seconds, 1st and goal, just inside the 10-yard line.
Everybody, overlooks that snap game, and that's a crucial part of the football game. That long snapper, you make a mistake, and it's, deadly.
Ukitil will fake the handoff, and he's going to go down, a loss of 2 or 3, and I believe Hudson will call a timeout here. No, they're
Hudson's
not.
going to try to line it up quick.
They're going to line it up, try to get
Taking
a play
too much
off here.
time. Let's get up there.
Second down and goal from
You
the
better
13-yard
snap
line.
the ball.
And Ukitil's going to keep it himself. Ukitil finds a crease. Ukitil
Timeout!
down to the 2-yard line, and now the
Timeout!
Raiders will call timeout. Coach Adam Cowell's just screaming timeout with 22 seconds left. They don't get it called until another 5 seconds comes off the clock. But either way, with third down, he only got time for 2 plays anyway. I don't think the clock's really going to come into play. They've only got 2 plays. There's 17 seconds left, and you got 1 timeout left.
It's probably not, but you know what? It's just kind of ineptitude of the officiating.
Yeah, they should have known that there was going to be a timeout called.
And they just don't look.
immediately
I mean,
after
it's
that
just
play.
it's incredible the ineptitude that takes place in the officiating. I'm not. You know me, I'm not one to badmouth the officials very often. But my God.
So 17 seconds left. The Raiders down to the 2-yard line. Third down and goal from the 2. They've got 2 plays to get it into the end zone. This might be a spot, though, if you don't get it in. If you can get the ball in the center of the field, you bring Christian Bell out to get yourself a two-score game.
Let's just run it in here.
Third down and 2.
Do that inside reverse to Marvin.
And then if you don't get it, you bring the ball into the middle of the field. They're going to give it to Diemel. Diemel's
He's in
the end zone. Touchdown, Raiders. They're running over the right side with Dayton Diemel, and Diemel makes it a 20-7 football game with Christian Bell coming on for the extra point.
And that's a demoralizing turn of events there for Menomonie. Here they were thinking they were going to, give Hudson not terrible, but, not advantageous field position. Run out the clock, get into halftime just down by a touchdown, and get the ball back starting the second half, have a chance to tie it up, and now here they are down by two touchdowns.
So Bell kicks it through, and that will give the Hudson Raiders a 14-point lead with 14 seconds to play here in the first half. And now the Raiders really need to contain here on this kickoff and don't give the Menomonie team an opportunity to get back into this game here with 14 seconds left.
I think with 14.9 seconds, I would be real tempted to do some kind of a squib kick or something to get it on the ground fast and get that clock running.
Menomonie out of timeout, so if you can get them to just sit on the football, they're probably not going to do much.
The last thing they want to have is something else bad happen here at the end of the half. And
cool, crisp weather here. Feels like October, early September, but temperatures around 50 degrees.
actually feels like football weather.
Yeah, no breeze blowing through, so it's a very comfortable 50 degrees.
I was watching that game last night, that Ravens-Pittsburgh game, and it was like 80 degrees and 60% humidity, and it's like, that's not football weather.
Raider kickoff team getting set.
Another kick for the Raiders.
Boy, they got nobody up for the kick. Yep, it's just pooch.
They're going to pooch kick it. And it's going to be sat down at around the 23, 24-yard line.
That was
3
a
seconds come off the clock.
perfect kick by Bell.
Just what the doctor ordered. And hopefully Menomonie will just come out here and sit down on it, and we'll go to the locker room.
Oh, but this is Labuda. If I was coaching, I'd try to air it out at least once.
I think this is where you run that play where your center just turns around and hands it to the quarterback, and he just kind of gingerly walks past the defense.
Going to take a knee and
And Menomonie will take a knee, and that should do it for the first half. So at the end of one, it's the Hudson Raiders 21 and Menomonie 7. Both teams will head to the locker room, and it was exciting. I think the Raiders could be sitting here in a little better position, but I think they'll take this spot 21-7.
Yeah, I think the big thing in that first half was that injury to Lucas Traynor. I'd be very interested to see if he can come back or what his status is. I really coming into this game expected Hudson to kind of have their way with Menomonie after what happened last week, but, there's no guarantees.
So we'll take a break with the Hudson Raiders leading at 21-7 over Menomonie. We'll be right back with second half action. Second half action about to get started here at Newton Field, and the Raiders will be kicking off to Menomonie to start the second half. And really, the Hudson Raiders dominated that first half as far as statistics go. Without that turnover at the end, it would have been a much closer game, but pretty dominant performance, really, other than one drive from Menomonie offensively. They were really not able to get much going tonight.
And it does look like Lucas Traynor is back on the sidelines. It looks like he got that left ankle taped up. I don't know if looks like he's down there now talking to the coaches. I don't know if he's going to get back in there or not, but
Bell kicks it away. He fielded it around the 10-yard line by Call, and Call's going to go down probably around the 27, 28-yard line.
Boy, it looked to me like there's kind of a block in the back there.
Raiders will come out on defense with Lucas Traynor on the sidelines.
Looks like they're bringing Christian Bell out there.
Yeah, Traynor is not going to be back in tonight. He's walking around pretty gingerly down there. They will run it up the middle right away, and the Hudson Raiders, some nice defensive penetration in there by Holden Tim, and that'll be a 1-yard loss on first down. The Raider defense starts the second half on a good note. Second and 11 now coming up.
Holden Tim has really holding his own there, that defensive end.
Labuda set to throw. He's got a man open in the flats. Makes the guy miss, and he will be up near the first down marker. And it looks like they're going to give him the first down.
That was just too easy. They ran 3 receivers down, and the inside receiver just crossed to the outside, and he was wide open. None of the defensive backs stayed with him, and that's just too easy.
Stocky moves the chains for the Mustangs out to the 39-yard line. Weiland now in there at quarterback, and he's set to pass. Under some pressure, gets it out of there. It's going to be incomplete. Coverage over there by Wes Coram. Bring up second and long. As Joel alluded to earlier, Christian Bell deep in the secondary, playing the safety spot. They'll line up in the tight formation, and they're going to pitch it to Call. And Call's going to pick up about 3 or 4.
Dalton Marsky with the tackle. Just ran in there as a replacement linebacker. Makes a nice tackle there.
Gain of 4. Brings up 3rd and a long 6 for Menomonie. They'll make some wholesale changes. Labuda will come back in at quarterback.
And after that nice play, Marsky comes out, and Koski goes back in for the Raiders.
Labuda all alone in the backfield. Throws it over to the right side. It's going to be a first down and more.
First down, Mustangs. Tackled by
Once again, when Menomonie is accurate with the ball, Hudson's been unable to stop the passing attack.
That's a good little throw out there. It's going to get your timing going and get some confidence instilled in that quarterback. Complete a couple short passes and move the chains. Weiland back in there when Weiland will hand it off. A big hole, shoestring tackle in there by Christian Bell will stop it from becoming a touchdown, but gain of around 12 on the counter.
Didn't look like Bell wanted any part of that. Dove for his ankles and fortunate to make the tackle, but not what you want to do here if you're Hudson. You don't want to give up an easy score to Menomonie.
Fresh set of downs for Menomonie out to the 36. Labuda looking to throw again out to the flats this time. Raiders able to bring him right down. Jake Niederhauser over there in the coverage. To be a loss of about 2 on first down.
That was a nice play by Jake on that. Sniffed it out nice, and that's what we need from the Raiders linebackers. We need that sure tackling.
Second and 12, we'll call it.
Clock 9:20 left in the third quarter. Hudson Raiders lead it 21-7 over Menomonie, but Menomonie driving. They're going to hand it off up the middle to the fullback, and he's got about 3 or 4.
One thing, the officials have really had a slow whistle tonight. They're not blowing that whistle till that ball's been completely stopped.
Third down and about 7 coming up. This has got to be 4-down territory for Menomonie. Weiland will stay in there at quarterback. Tight formation, 1 receiver to the right side. And they're going to hand it off to Call. Call makes a move. He's going to be short of the first down, but picks up about 3. We'll set up about a 4th down and 4 coming up here for Menomonie, and I would say there's about a 100% chance they're going for it here.
Here's a big play for the Raider defense here. If they can stop him here and get the ball back around the 30-yard line and give him pretty decent field position.
They'll bring Labuda back in at quarterback.
And I wouldn't be surprised to see him do that same play again where they line up 3 wide receivers to one side and run them down and take that inside receiver and have him do an out pattern. And it's been wide open all night.
2 receivers, 3 receivers to the right side or the left side. And that's where he's going with the football. Intercepted. Wes Corum picks it off. Corum is going to go down at around the 32-yard line, but a big interception by Wes Corum. And the Hudson Raider offense will come onto the field.
Pretty obvious holding on Reeder there, too. Anytime you see a defensive lineman's jersey stretched out, you can pretty much guarantee there's holding. And I think his jersey's about a foot bigger than it was before that play. But in any event, we'll take the play and we'll take the ball and good field position.
1st and 10 for Hudson at around the 33-yard line. Ucatil will go under center, give it to Dayton Diemel, and Diemel's going to pick up 2 or 3 on first down.
You know, one thing we've talked about so many times with the Raider offense is, you know, this gets to be the time of the game when that big Hudson offensive line can kind of take over, and those what were 3 and 4 yard gains in the first half can turn into 6 and 7 yard gains in the second half.
And Diemel's going to get blown up behind the line of scrimmage on that play. The Menomonie defensive line right behind the blue shirts. And
yeah, I don't know who something wasn't. Somebody missed a block or there was a miscommunication in the offensive lineman there because.
3rd and about 8. Ucatil back under center. Ucatil set to throw, finds an opening, throws it right down the middle, and looking for Weissemeyer, incomplete, and really he did a nice job of just making sure the Menomonie defender didn't pick that one off.
And that would have been a nice spot for Ucatil just to pull that ball down and take off. There was nobody on this side of the field. It would have been very easy for him to pick up the first down running.
Got an injured Menomonie player on his feet, but looks to be a little shaken up. Raiders are going to take a moment here at this injury timeout to get their punt team all ready to go. Good spot also to mention if you enjoy our broadcast and want to be able to watch more and more Hudson football throughout the year, you can pick up a DVD set of the entire season. Give us a call, 715-386-0115, or you can email us. It's info@riverchannel.org.
Now, when you buy the full set, does that include the highlight video?
It does include the exclusive highlight video.
That's good because I said that 2 weeks ago when you weren't there. I wanted to make sure I wasn't talking out of school, but I did make that offer.
It's a good one.
It's a great keepsake. I don't care what you say. It's when my kid played, it's a great thing to have. I pull them out once in a while, look at some of those games.
Good snap, and Bell gets it away. High kick, boomer. Fair catch called for and made at around the 32-yard line by Menomonie. So third punt of the night for Bell, and has been absolutely zero return yardage for Menomonie tonight. They started the season with Bell not as the punter, and boy, I think they realized the error in that judgment.
I think they made a good decision by putting him back there to punt. He really has a nice high ball, and he's done some. Really, like you said, you can't argue with no return yards.
Yeah. So the Menomonie offense will come back onto the field for the second time here in the second half. 6:36 left to play. Hudson still leading it 21-7. That was the margin when they went to the locker room. Both offenses have had the ball once.
Here comes reverse.
The double
the
reverse. And is in trouble.
The receiver fell down. I think they were trying to get the ball to Brent Lindbergh, who fell down on the play. There was Raider coverage there, but play was going nowhere.
Loss of around 10, and it'll set up 2nd and 20. And you're always waiting for Labuda to have something up his sleeve. They tried it there, but really, that, like you said, that play just wasn't going to happen.
On one hand, you like to see those kind of plays. You like to see him try them, but when you got to try those kind of plays, that means you're in a spot you don't want to be.
And this time they're going to run the counter behind the line of scrimmage. The Raider defense all over that one. Ryan Ryder wraps him up, drags him down. About a 4-yard loss. Ryder and Koski in there.
And Ryder's another one having a great season. He had a lot of playing time last year. He's getting a chance to be the leader on that defensive line this year, and he's really stepped up to the challenge and been making some nice plays behind the line of scrimmage.
Third down and very long at the 19-yard line. If the Raiders can come up with a stop here, not allow them to get any yardage, be in pretty good field position.
Just don't give up more than 22 yards.
Labuda will hand it off, and nothing doing there. Once again, the Raider defense, Jack Koski and company, all over that one. That'll bring up 4th down, and the Menomonie punt team will come onto the field.
4th down for the Mustangs.
Well, Hudson should get the ball around midfield.
Can't have any special teams errors of our own here.
Maybe we'll have another snap over the head. There's got to be a little doubt in that center's head now. Maybe he'll bounce this one. He won't want to snap this one over the head. He'll snap it short. And
Holmes standing around the 48-yard line. The kick is away. It's kind of a squibber. And Holmes going to let it bounce out of bounds. It will do so at around the 43. The official having a discussion with, wow, that's a bad spot.
That was a nice punt. Got a nice bounce out of it.
First and 10 for the Hudson Raiders. Ball's on their own 40-yard.
Now he's going to get that Hudson offense clicking here.
So the Raiders will set up shop at their own 40, 60 yards in front of them.
Raider offense has been very spotty tonight. They've showed some really good spots where they've ran the ball well, and they've showed some other spots where this can't get anything going.
Joe Labuda over there having some discussions with the officials. Ucatil to Braden Marvin. Marvin's going to pick up about 2 on the play. Still fighting. Whistle the play dead after a gain of 3.
And I don't know if just the Raiders are showing respect for the speed of the Menomonie secondary linebackers, but they have not run the ball one option all night. Not one option outside.
A lot of counter stuff inside a tackle. They'll give it to Marvin once again. Same play. And Marvin's going to pick up another 3 or 4 yards and bring up a manageable 3rd down and about a short 4, long 3, call it what you want. Well, I'll mark it 3rd down and 3.
I still don't think you're at a point where if you don't get it here, you can't afford to go for it on 4th down.
No, I don't think so. You're right. You got to punt it away if you don't get it. Raiders will try to draw Menomonie off sides. They may have seen this a few times. And they're going to give it to Demel. Demel's got 1st down yardage out across the 50, down to the 46-yard line. So Demel takes the drama out of that. Fresh set of downs for the Raiders at the 46.
Maybe after last week, Cowell just said, I'm going to keep using what's working. As long as we can run it up the middle, I'm not going to do anything else.
Ucatil from the pistol now. They'll send Marvin in motion. Bad snap. Ucatil scoops it up. Ucatil finding some room. Ucatil down on his feet inside the 30-yard line, down to the 28, 1st and 10 for Hudson, deep into Menomonie territory.
Hudson had a offensive lineman downfield to block for him, but there was no one for him to block. The hole was so wide open. Ucatil let him run right past him, but it was like he's looking around, who do I block? There's nobody here.
Set up from the pistol once again. They'll send Marvin in motion. They're going to give it to Demel, and Demel tripped up down to around the 26-yard line. They're going to be a gain of around 2.
25-yard line of the Mustangs. Tackled by number 5, Adam White. Adam White on the tackle for the Mustangs. 2nd and 7.
They'll give him 3, 2nd down and 7. Coming up for Hudson.
That Marvin sure gets a lot of running in between plays.
They're going to give it to Demel once again. Demel not getting much on that one. They'll maybe give him a yard. 3rd down coming up for Hudson, and there'll be no doubt on this one. They'll definitely be going for it on 4th if they can't convert here on 3rd down and 7. And that play was just blown up. Braden Marvin able to cover up, but
they were trying to run that option, and they run it to the short side of the field. It's ridiculous.
So that will move the football back to the 30-yard line. 4th down and around 12 coming up, and this is going to be most likely a pass here for Hudson. Ucatil will go under center. Fake the handoff, and he's going to throw it for Weissemeyer.
He's got it! Touchdown!
And Weissemeyer into the end zone. Touchdown, Raiders. 4th down and 12 from the 30-yard line. Weissemeyer turned it toward the sideline, and Ucatil delivered the ball right on the spot. Pitch and catch.
That defensive back from Menomonie looked like he broke on the ball. Maybe he's going to try to make a play on the ball. Realized that he wasn't going to be able to, that the ball was too far outside and had nowhere to go, but tried to run down Herink Weissemeyer, and nothing doing there.
So Bell will come on to kick the extra point, and it is good. And the Raiders have opened the lead up to 21 points with a 28-7 lead over Menomonie.
Well, we've seen that happen to us many, many times where we have a team 4th and long, and you think you got them right where you want them, and have them drop the hammer on you. And here tonight, the shoe's on the other foot. Really nice play by Ucatil there to get that ball out to Weissemeyer, and nice catch and run by him to get in the end zone, and it's all good. As they say, it's all good in the hood.
1:10 left to play in the 3rd quarter. The Hudson Raiders have opened the lead to 21 points, and this is a spot here for the Menomonie offense that if they want to stay in this football game, they have to score.
And, now it's getting to the point where, they're going to have to throw the ball more.
Yep.
And it's kind of a, good news, bad news. The good news if you're Menomonie, they have had success with doing it. The bad news for Menomonie is they've had some dismal efforts at it also.
Christian Bell and the kick coverage team getting set. Menomonie with 3 players standing at their own 5-yard line. Bell has kicked some boomers tonight. Here we go.
Oh,
Be fielded at the 6-yard line by Call, and Call with really nowhere to go is going to go down at the 22-yard line.
well, momentum is definitely swinging Hudson's direction.
78 yards in front of the Mustangs here in a situation where they have to score. The Raider defense can come up with a turnover here. Going to put them in a bad spot. Labuda, no, this is Weiland, and Weiland fires to the right side. He's got a man, but dragged down immediately over there. That was Bryce Ducharme, and I believe Motu over there.
Dalton Marsky back in there for Koski.
It's a gain of 3. Brings up 2nd and 7. Weiland stays in there. Actually, no, they bring the receiver in, and he's wrapped up and dragged down. Niederhauser back there. Lindbergh tried to take the snap, and Lindbergh's kind of had a rough night tonight.
Yeah, that was, I don't know, how do they spot the ball at the 20?
That's what I was thinking. That's a pretty gracious spot there if you've ever seen one.
He was standing at the 25 or at the 15 when there was when he was first touched. What they saying? That's where he caught the ball.
So Menomonie will call a timeout here on 3rd and 13, and wow. We talk a lot about spots, but that one there, I don't think there's any.
I'd like to see the replay of it, see where he actually was first mid-contact, but I know it was inside the 20.
So 3rd and 13, and Coach Joe Labuda takes a timeout because if Menomonie can't convert here, it's going to be real difficult for them to get back into this football game.
Yeah, you're talking there's, 14 seconds left or is it a minute 40?
I believe that's 14 seconds.
Anyway, it's the end of the 3rd quarter. They've only got 1 quarter left. I just don't see if they don't convert here. And, well, stranger things have happened. Hudson did give up 21 to Minnetonka in the 4th quarter. But I got to believe Hudson's offense is going to put another one in. I think Hudson would like to make a statement here, and
they've come up with a lot of big plays against this Menomonie team in situations just like this. Labuda in there at quarterback now. They spread the field. Labuda under pressure, firing, and it's going to be incomplete.
And Hudson brought a blitz that time. Labuda had no time to throw that ball. Threw it way before he wanted to, and he just got rid of it.
Labuda's delivered some nice balls, but it has done so really with no pressure. And that time the Raiders brought pressure, and that one was just not going to happen. So Menomonie will send the punt team onto the field. Holm will stand at the 50-yard line.
I'd like to see Holm run one back here. He's got some skills.
High snap, but pulled down and kicked away.
Bad kick.
And that is a bad kick.
That should be spotted about the 35.
Kick goes out of bounds. Raiders will take over in Mustang territory.
How about the 34? The Raiders will start off with very advantageous starting field position here at the 34-yard line. 6 seconds to play in the 3rd quarter.
Hudson Raiders 1st and 10. Ball on the Mustangs 34.
And if the Raiders are able to turn this drive into points, it might be time for Joe Labuda to walk out on the field for 2.5 minutes.
We've seen that before.
Probably the final play of the third quarter. Ukitil will give it to Dayton Diemel, and Diemel's going to pick up about 4 or 5 yards on first down. Ball comes out of there, but not until Diemel was down. And that will do it for the third quarter.
Menomonie now at this point, they've got to do that. They've got to have the first guy's got to stand the runner up, and the second guy's got to try to strip that ball. And Hudson has shown that they will turn the ball over.
Mustangs 7.
Raiders will raise 4 fingers into the air, signifying their ownership of the fourth quarter. They can, again, get something out of this drive. This one's going to be over. Raiders had not beaten Menomonie ever until about 6 years ago. We used to call Menomonie the Big Bad Wolf, but it looks like these days they're no longer playing that role here.
No, and there was a stretch there where Menomonie went. We talked about Hudson having a 17-game winning streak in the Big Rivers Conference. There was a time when I think Menomonie went for they had 50-some or more wins in the Big Rivers.
I remember early part of this century, you'd have a team that maybe win 4 or 5 games, and you go over there to Menomonie thinking, hey, we're going to make something happen, and they would just blow the doors off of them. Some of these other teams in this conference has just started to catch up. Second down and around 6. Ukitil going from the pistol. They're going to hand it off. And that's Nick Holm.
No, that's Holm.
Nick Holm into the end zone. Touchdown, Raiders. Nick Holm, 32-yard touchdown scamper around the left side. And they took that one outside, Joel, and really didn't have to beat too many Menomonie players to get into that end zone.
No, that was one of those handoffs that went just off tackle, and he cut it to the outside, and there was nobody there, and he was just a foot race to the end zone. And well, once again, they score quickly. 7 seconds gone in the fourth quarter.
Raiders out to a 34-7 lead. And it's a high snap. Ukitil gets it down.
I don't know.
And the kick is good. I'll tell you one thing, Joel. John Ukitil has played some really good quarterback this year. He's played some really good holder this year, too. I've seen some snaps that have kind of been high, and he's really been flawless at pulling those balls down.
And that's one thing that really goes overlooked in the course of a season is that, those marginal snaps, and that's the snapper's best friend is that holder when he can pull one of them down and get a good spot so they can get the kickoff. It's a difference between a disaster and an extra point.
So 35-7 now. The Raiders out front with under 12 minutes to play in this game. It's not over, but it's about as close to over as you can possibly get at this point. And now Hudson really needs to stay focused and try to get out of this game without any more injuries than they've already suffered.
Yeah, I don't think if this was any other team of Menomonie, I think Hudson would probably, kind of call off the dogs and try to get some second teamers in there, but I just don't see that happening tonight. At least not with 11:53 left in the fourth quarter. Get her down to 5 minutes left and
then you start
and a 28-point lead, and then we can talk about it. But this is where these junior players and these second teamers, the kids that are going to play next year, this is where they get valuable playing time. Is in these games where you have a comfortable lead and you can, afford to substitute some kids in. Not only does it save wear and tear on your starters, but it gives those other kids valuable playing time.
Bell set to kick. Another high, deep kick fielded at the 5-yard line by Call. And Call's going to be taken down at the 20-yard line. So other than that kickoff, really at the end of the second quarter, the Raider kick coverage team has been pretty much flawless tonight as well.
Mustangs take over 1st and 10, balls on their own 21-yard line.
The Raiders have taken 6 straight from Menomonie, but they've all been pretty tight games. This is the first time we've seen Menomonie really in a big hole. And they will hand it off to the left side. Holden Tim's going to bring him down. It's going to be a gain of around 4 or 5 on first down.
On the carry, Holden Tim on the tackle. Iden on the carry for the Mustangs, Holden on the tackle.
Iden carries the ball.
6 on that, brings up 3rd down, or excuse me, 2nd and
Labuda back into the game at quarterback. He'll go under center this time. And they're going to hand it off again or on the left side and making some hay. Nice pull down there by Reed Junko, but not until after Menomonie's able to convert that for a first down. But
yeah, it looked like Motu had a beat on too, and somebody came across the middle and gave him a nice block in the back and pushed him down. But you know, when you're inside that box, it's all fair game.
Menomonie will spread it out now.
There's that same play again.
Labuda set to throw, and he pulls it down, and Menomonie's going to go inside to Raider territory down to the 45-yard line. Complete.
That was that same play they ran earlier where they run 3 wide receivers down, and the inside receiver takes it to the outside. That one he waited a little bit longer, allowed him to turn it upfield. He was being covered by a linebacker, and just got its little separation, and it was a nice pass. And
down to the 45-yard line is Menomonie now. Clock rolling, 10:20 left in the game. Hudson leading it 35-7 over Menomonie. This time it's Weiland. Weiland in trouble, steps out of it, looking to throw the ball, gets it out.
Oh!
Nearly intercepted, in and out of the hands of Koski.
Looked like Koski was going to have an interception there.
Honestly, I think the poorly thrown ball really kind of played in the hands of Weiland, because that thing was a duck. If it had been a spiral, it would have been an easy catch.
Yeah, Tim got the early pressure on him and was able to elude that and scrambling out to his left and try to throw it back across the field, and just not able to get enough mustard on it and threw it behind the receiver, and Koski was there to make the play, just couldn't keep a handle on it.
2nd and 10 as Labuda comes back into the game. Labuda firing it down the sidelines. Is going to be in. Oh, wow.
There's a flag. That's got to be offensive. That's got to be offensive pass interference.
Let's see what the call is.
Holding. Oh, they're going to call holding? Ah. They'll decline that.
When he threw that ball, I said it's going to be incomplete the way the ball went up there. But
you know, Hudson had a lot of second-teamers in on that drive, and now Cowell says, get my first-teamers back in there. We got to keep them out of the end zone. And
so they complete the pass inside the 20-yard line down to the 17.
Boy, the way that pass was thrown up in the air, too, it looked like there was able to make somebody should have been able to make a play on that, but
spread it out on the left side. Weiland in there at quarterback now, flings it over, and Menomonie's really lucky on that one, because it looked like it was going to be Wes Corum having an opportunity to snatch that one out of the air.
Yeah, nice closing speed by Corum on that to get over there. And
2nd and 10 now coming up for Menomonie.
Here they got those 3 wide receivers that side.
Labuda
there he throws it out again.
Labuda across the middle, incomplete. The receiver hits the turf, but no flags fly, and 3rd down coming up.
That looked like one of them plays where maybe you're just trying to hope to get a flag because you had all your receivers bunched up in one area, and it's like
And it looks like Menomonie's going to call timeout once again.
Well, it's got to be 4-down territory. I mean, I don't know.
3rd and 10 coming up. They choose to call timeout. Next week in the Big Rivers, it's our Hudson Raiders making the trip northeast to Rice Lake. It'll be a nice road game over to Rice Lake. Superior is going to be on the road next week at Menomonie, and that will be a very interesting game for the folks here in Hudson. The Hudson Raiders will become Menomonie fans next week. They could really use a Menomonie victory next week over Superior. Then Eau Claire North with their inter-city game against Eau Claire Memorial, and River Falls on the road in the Battle of the Falls. It's River Falls at Chippewa Falls. 3rd and 10.
Hudson bench showing a little enthusiasm here, cheering on the defense to get a stop here.
Labuda from the shotgun. Labuda looking left. He's going to load up to throw. Throwing it for the end zone. It's going to be knocked away. Beautiful defensive play over there by Reed Junko. They put Labuda on the run when he threw that football, and Junko closed on it, swatted away. 4th down coming up. Weiland comes in at quarterback. Labuda to the sideline.
Holding Tim again, putting nice pressure on the quarterback.
4th down and 10, setting up the screen. And they've got Call, and Call is going to get into the end zone. That was a really nice play call.
You know, there was a Raider defender that had a nice shot, had a nice line at him to make a tackle and keep that play from developing, but couldn't quite make the tackle. And
see Menomonie run a lot of screens against the Raiders. We haven't seen them do it tonight, and they kind of waited for a good spot to run it there. So Menomonie gets into the end zone to make it a 35-13 game. The extra point here to get it to within 21. And the kick is no good. So the Raiders' lead will stay at 35-13.
I don't know what happened there. It sounded like he got good leg on it, but it just didn't. It only went 3 feet.
9:36 left to go.
So 9:36 left in the football game, and the Hudson Raider offense will come back onto the field up by 22. If they can put together one of those 10, 12-play drives where they just kind of methodically move it down the field, this thing's going to be over.
I like those one-play drives. I'm starting to like those.
It's definitely exciting.
You know, I remember when my son was playing, he told me that every play was designed to score a touchdown. You know, they do those counters and they do that, you know, blocking, their blocking schemes. You know, it's designed to, every line was, designed to block 2 guys. You block the guy in front of you just to give him a crease and let that runner get through and, get downfield and block another guy. And I think you've seen some of those plays for Hudson developing a touchdown tonight that, from the defensive side, you just scratch your head and go, how did that happen?
Raiders will have the hands team out. It looks like, I believe it's Jordan Carranza, the only man deep for Hudson. The rest of the 10 players all up front.
Only that you see him.
Ooh,
they'll kick it over the line, and Raiders able to scoop it up. Wes Corum fielded it from the air, and
boy, I can just see the wheels turning in Corum's head like, I want to run this back, and does the wiser move and takes a knee and get the offense out there.
So the Raider offense will come onto the field at around the 28-yard line, 72 yards in front of them. 9:34 left to play. And they're going to hand it to, still on his feet, is Nick Holm. And Holmes going to pick up 11 yards, and that will move the chains for the Raiders.
Number 2, Drew Bohan, and number 50, Austin Stalen Bohan.
Both of Hudson's tailbacks are juniors, Nick Holm and Dayton Diemel.
Let's do that same play 6 more times.
Diemel the starter, but Nick Holm has done a very nice job in relief of Diemel this season. And they'll give it to him again, this time only about a yard.
Nick Holm on the carry for the Raiders.
Oh, they'll give him 2. 2nd and 8 coming up for Hudson.
So as you saw, Josh Nelson, number 76, the left tackle. He was 10 yards downfield looking to make a block. That's where those big runs come in, is when you get those guys downfield making those blocks.
They're to give to Holm again. Holm gets past the first level, is going to take it down around the 46-yard line. Is going to set up a manageable 3rd down spot here. 3rd and a long 3 coming up for the Raiders.
Sam Welsh, the tight end, will come back in. Parker Vogler, wide receiver, comes out. Oh, and Hudson moved.
I don't know, Joel. It looked like Menomonie went into the neutral zone.
Yeah, I don't think Hudson's going to get away with that one, though.
And they will back the Raiders up.
Boy. I think you're right. The left defensive end or linebacker on that side looked like he jumped in the neutral zone, but.
So a 3rd and 3 turns into a 3rd and 8. Clock still rolling, 7:54 left in the game. The Hudson Raiders lead it 35-14 over Menomonie for a 3rd and 8 that they'd love to pick up. And they're going to give it to Holm, and Holm going to fall forward for a gain of about 4 yards. I think that was just one of those deals. Let's try to run another 40 seconds off the clock.
And that's one thing I don't understand. I understand the hurry up offense and no huddle and trying to want to run a lot of plays. But if that's what you're going to do, you want to try to run some clock. Why are you doing that now?
Yeah. Take your time to get up.
I say put the pedal on the metal and keep her screaming. Let's put up a 50 spot on these guys.
Bell's set to punt, and he's been fantastic tonight punting.
Let's fake it.
The Raiders short a man, and they're going to have to call a timeout.
Well,
yeah, it looked like Motu was supposed to be in there. And it may be one of those deals where with Trainer not in the game, there's probably some confusion on who's supposed to be in the game, and it costs Hudson a timeout. So the clock stopped now at 7:03 left to play. Hudson Raiders' upcoming schedule next week at Rice Lake. And then they come home the following week for homecoming against Eau Claire Memorial. Back on the road then to Chippewa Falls, followed up with a home date against River Falls, and they'll conclude the season on the road in Eau Claire against the Eau Claire North Huskies.
Let's do a short snap and fake it. Now what do you got?
They're going to call motion on Hudson.
I don't know. I didn't see it, but. Wow. It's funny how that guy on the Labuda side of the field is making all those calls. I don't get it. It's weird.
So 4th and 9 now. Bell standing at his own 25. And Bell kicks it away. Another high kick. This time Menomonie's going to try to return it. Nope, he didn't call for a fair catch. And the fair catch is made at the 22-yard line. So very nice kick by Christian Bell, and it moves Menomonie back with a long field in front of him here.
That Menomonie return man was lucky that didn't get over his head. Caught that with his both hands stretched high over his head, and that could have easily been a muff and Hudson's ball down around the 10-yard line.
Just under 7 minutes to play. Menomonie will start this drive with 78 yards in front of them. In a 21-point hole, needing to move the football quickly.
Looks like they got number 24, Isaac Dardine, out there. Defensive back now.
And they're going to run it up the middle. Not much doing there.
Gained a couple for the Mustangs. A slew of Raiders on the tackle. Led by number 44, Ryan Ryder.
Mitch Swanson, number 31, checks in as a defensive back, along with number 11, Alex Shaw. I'm all in favor of getting these kids playing time. So let's keep on their side of the 50-yard line.
Menomonie will spread it out on the left side. And Weiland going to throw it, and they're setting up to throw it again downfield. It's going to be caught. I don't know, Joel. It looks like Menomonie has not quit playing yet. I don't think we should quit playing either. They're running plays like that down by 21 with 6 minutes to play. Better keep that first-team defense in the game.
Well, they let them get on our side of the 50, so. And I don't know. I mean, those jump balls, Hudson just doesn't win them. It's just our secondary just isn't tall enough.
Pitch it around the left side. Holden Tim looked like he was going to have a chance to make the tackle, but they'll pick up about 2 on the play.
Alvin on the carry for the Mustangs. Corum on the tackle for the Raiders, gaining a couple on that. Second and
Clock under 5.5 minutes to go now. 2nd and 8 coming up. Ball placed at the 40-yard line of Hudson. Weiland under center. Check that, it's Labuda. And Labuda throwing across the middle. He's got his man. He's going to stretch it out over the 30-yard line, and that should give Menomonie another first down. McCauley with the catch.
that is a Mustang first down. First and 10 for the Mustangs on Raider 30.
1st and 10 at the Hudson 30 for Menomonie. Clock just under 5 minutes now. They're going to pitch it out to the left side. And
see, that's doesn't it seem like they let that play continue for a long time after the
did,
progress had stopped?
Gain of 1. Tackled by Holden Tim over there on the right side.
Let's see him punch the ball out here with one of those plays.
Clock under 4.5 to go now. Tight formation. And they'll go to the right side, and big hole opened up over there for Iden. And that'll be another first down for Menomonie.
Boy, I don't know who the linebacker was on this side that got, but he just gave him a little shove to the outside, went right around him.
Menomonie's probably going to score on the drive the way they're moving, but it is taking about 35, 40 seconds per play off the clock. Iden will take it to the left side now, and another big chunk of yardage, gain of 12 that time. Be nice to stop him for maybe 2. That'll move the chains. 1st and goal now coming up for Menomonie at the 7-yard line.
It's a good thing this offense didn't show up in the third quarter.
Under 4 minutes to play. And the clock just starts rolling again. And they'll pitch it to the right side. Iden looking for some room. It's going to be pulled down about a yard or 2 short
You know, and Hudson's, I don't know what kind of defense they're playing now, but it is just incredible that they played so well up till the last 5 minutes, and it's just like they've collapsed.
Menomonie's going to make this score look respectable
well,
after really being blown out.
I mean, this game's, I don't think it's in any doubt. I mean, you're probably going to see an onside kick if they do punch it in here.
3:15 to play. Second and goal for Menomonie. And they will give it to the fullback, and he's going to be pushed backwards. Host the blue shirts there, led by Miles Jensen.
And Niederhauser, he's got to come out. His helmet came off, so he's got to come out.
Niederhauser comes out. Geisler comes in for him. Clock rolling, 2:45 to play. Third down and goal for Menomonie at the 2-yard line. Labuda in there at quarterback. They'll pitch it to the left side for Ivan. Koski got a handful of them. They're going to pull him down short, down to around the 1-yard line. We have a fourth and goal situation coming up.
Looked like Koski was going to stop him for a little bit of a loss, and managed to drag himself down to the 1-yard line.
Fourth and goal, 2:15 to play.
Boy, this is a big play here.
He's going to get in. And Iden's into the end zone.
That would have been a nice pride play there for the Raiders. They could have got a stop there, but.
So the touchdown will pull Menomonie to 19 points. They trail by 16.
I think you got to kick the extra point here, and
they definitely kicked the one here, and
you still got to score 2 more times, and
they're going to go for 2. And Labuda looking to throw, and he's got it.
Made it look easy.
Got it to McCauley, and that's going to make it 35-21. And as I said a few minutes ago, they took a blowout and made it look respectable, and you can pretty much guarantee they're going to kick an onside kick here.
Hudson calls for the hands team.
Joe Labuda is going to make him work for it tonight.
Well, I think there is some, method to his madness. He wants to make it look a little closer for when it comes to seeding and things at the end of the season, because these two won't meet in, the playoffs, because Menomonie will be a Division II team and Hudson will be Division I, and I don't care what you say, style points come into it.
Yep, if you make it look close, you're going to be in a lot better shape when you go into that seeding meeting at the end of the year.
Yep.
That's why it would have been nice to head to the seeding meeting with a 35-7 victory over Menomonie. 2:03 to play. Menomonie most likely going to kick this onside, trying to get the football. Ball comes off the tee, and they'll set it up again.
Well, Labuda only has 1 timeout left, so realistically, Hudson's really only have to get 1 first down.
And it's not going to make the 10 yards. Carranza, no, that's Holm. Menomonie waited for that football to get 10 yards, and Holm just swung in there and grabbed it.
It was a play they had to do, because if they would have touched it before it went 10 yards, it would have been a penalty, but they allowed Holm to get behind the Menomonie players and make a nice return out of it.
Really smart play.
Yes, heads up.
So Holm picked it up, took it down to the 28-yard line. As Joel said, the Raiders really only need 1 first down here to call it a night.
I want to see him punch it in. Get that touchdown back they just gave up.
Raiders will bring the starting offense onto the field.
A little surprised by that. With 1:59 left, I thought they'd. But Cowles doesn't want to take any chances.
Ucatil will give it to Holm. Holm going to have a nice gain, pick up around 6 or 7.
I'm surprised Labuda is not taking a timeout. Really surprised by that.
Clock rolling.
Maybe he'll wait until this play.
1:40 to play.
He's only got one to burn, so I guess it doesn't matter if you take it here or take it after this play.
Raiders taking their time.
Now Hudson's they're going to get called for delay. Or no, Hudson calls a timeout.
Hudson ran the clock all the way down and called timeout with 1:19 to play.
Now it looks like Hudson's going to bring in their second team offense, and they did the math on it and bring in Richards to take a couple of knees.
So next week, a road trip to Rice Lake. And that's a game that, Rice Lake has been up and down. They went over to New Richmond, which looked like a pretty good football team, and blew New Richmond out, and then lost last week to River Falls on their home field in that last second play. Not sure how they're doing tonight, but Rice Lake generally gets up for this Hudson football team, especially over there, and you can pretty much bet it's going to be a good game.
Rice Lake has been a house of horrors for Hudson, so since they got that new field. It's been, a lot of things that could go wrong have gone wrong.
They will hand it off up the middle.
That looks like that'll do it. That's a first down, and
repeat that for me again. Dominic Sidombeko with the carry. Not on your program, but a nice run there for a first down pickup. 1st and 10, clock down to 1:15 now.
no,
And Richards is taking his time.
Wait until they start to
5
count
seconds
down.
left in the play clock. And now the Raiders will take a knee. Menomonie has one timeout remaining, and it looks like they're going to choose not to do so.
Well, that kind of surprises me that Labuda doesn't take his timeout, but then again, I think the game is over, so even if he would take it, should be the last snap. Clock ticks under 35 seconds.
Richards under center, he will take a knee, and that will do it. Clock under 25 seconds. If Joe Labuda decides to keep that timeout in his pocket, it will be over. 13 seconds remaining, and for the 7th straight time, the Hudson Raiders will defeat Menomonie. 2nd straight time here at home with the reshuffle of the schedule, but
And one thing I've noticed, the Menomonie crowd that comes over here is getting smaller and smaller. It used to be where you couldn't even get a place to sit on the home sideline because there were so many Menomonie fans here. They'd come and take over the Hudson side of the bleachers. But
so a 35-21 victory tonight here over Menomonie. The Raiders come back after that difficult loss last week on the road at Superior. Raiders back on the road next week at Rice Lake, and they're also going to be big Menomonie fans next week as Superior hits the road. They'll take on Menomonie at Williams Stadium next week. And if Menomonie can come up with a win, the Raiders can get back into play here for a chance to share at the conference crown. Still a lot of football to play, though.
Yep, there's a lot of football playing. Yeah, you don't rule out the Eau Claire schools either. They've got some guys that can throw the ball around the park. And
the Raiders have shown in the last few games they've been pretty susceptible to the pass, and tonight they're really fortunate in that Menomonie had some open guys and just couldn't deliver the football to them.
I would like to really see them put more pressure. If that means blitzing or whatever it means, they got to get more pressure on the passer so they can't let those receivers get downfield and make those plays. Make them throw it when they don't want to. Make them uncomfortable.
Either way, a very nice bounce-back victory for Hudson after a really tough loss on the road last week. They're in the win column in the conference schedule, back to 1-1 in the conference, and a 5-game stretch here to finish out the season. Got to keep playing hard, practicing hard, keeping guys onto the field, and hopefully we can be where we want to be in late October. So it's a 35-21 win over Menomonie tonight for Joel Eby. I'm Chris Larson. Thanks for watching football on the River Channel. We will see you next week.